Hello, I'm Leah. I'm Leah Wilson-Felis. This is an all levels yoga class for the community partnership in Teller County. So I'm here recording on Zoom. I've got Zoom students. I've got students here in studio, as we call it. So welcome. Make sure that as we're practicing today, you honor your body and make sure you listen to your body. So if mimicking me doesn't feel good, make sure to make it up, make it your own, and make it comfortable for you and your body. So I give you permission at any time to change the practice in any way. I like to start seated. This is called Sukhasana, and it means easy pose, but it's not easy for everybody. So if it's not easy for you to sit like this, make sure to change the way you're seated. Maybe sit in a chair to begin. And we're just going to practice kind of grounding ourselves and imagining raising the energy of our body. And so not just raising the energy as in giving ourselves more energy to work from, but also imagining the energy in our body physically raising up towards our upper body with the inhales and down towards the ground with the exhales. I have a really nice mudra today. It's called the Hansi Mudra, and it's the gesture of the inner smile. So what you do, really simple, both hands do the same thing. You connect your thumb to your index finger, middle finger, and your ring finger. So you want to kind of drape those three fingers over the tip of the thumb, and then you've got your pinky finger extended, kind of like you're drinking fancy tea. Both sides do that, the Hansi Mudra. So this is meant to create kind of like an inner smile in your body and your mind. So let your hands just rest if that feels good. You can relax your shoulders down. And so in yoga, we believe that there are these layers to our being, layers to our consciousness, and they're called the koshas. So they're kind of like an onion. And so the outer layer of the onion is called the food body because it feeds our mind. When you touch it, it feeds the brain. And then as we go down in those layers, we get down to the Anandamaya kosha. And so Ananda means bliss. It means happiness. And so we want to try to get down to that layer. And this is meant to bring us down to that layer. So I'm going to read a little bit about the Anandamaya kosha. It's the body of bliss, and it encompasses all of the inherent positive qualities of our true being as they unfold and as our limiting beliefs are released. So limiting beliefs are things like that critical mind that tells us we're not good enough. So we've got to let that mind go, that critical thinking. As we align with the clarity of our true being, we can tap into kind of like a spring of wisdom and understanding from which joy and wholeness and limitlessness and bliss unfolds naturally. So that's what we're trying to do with this mudra here. And so as we breathe, we want to imagine the energy of our body rising up from our seat to our throat, to our heart, to our head. And as we exhale, that energy comes back down towards the ground, towards our seat, towards your tailbone. So this is going to enhance circulation in our body. Inhaling, breathing in, lifting that energy up, and then exhaling, bringing that energy back down. When we can find that clarity, when we can clear the pathway and release all of those limiting beliefs, those negative thought processes, then we come to bliss, happiness, joy. So maybe for now, we smile a little bit on the inside or on the outside and start to just move through our practice and try to clear the pathways to create that ananda, that bliss, that joy. So let's release the Hansi Mudra, open up your hands, and let's move the energy with our hands. So with an inhale, scoop the energy, scoop the air up. As you exhale, float your hands back down towards your lap. And we'll just do that. Do it with your own pace, your own breath. You can close your eyes so that you don't have to match me. It's just all work with our own breath, our own rhythms. And remember, if a movement does not feel good, don't press into pain. We can find our limits and we can work within those limits. Let's do it one more time. Big inhale, lifting the energy up towards our head. Exhaling to let those hands come back down. Now I'm getting a little warm, so I'm gonna move things around here. And so let's move into like a cat and a cow type movement. So if you want to change your legs a little bit, you can change your legs any way that you want to. It's up to you. I'm going to grab onto the knees. And so with the inhale, we want to let the belly come forward, let our heart open, kind of look up a little bit. Draw your shoulders back. Let's take a big inhale there. And then we're going to do the complete opposite. The shoulders roll forward, we round our back, look down, and let's just do that a couple times. So we're inhaling, rolling forward, exhaling, rolling back. Cat and cow. Cow is the forward movement, chest opening. Cat is the rounding movement with the spine rounding. Back and forth. A couple more times here, just kind of warming up our back, warming up our pelvis. You can feel it in your shoulders, in your neck. Now, where you feel it in your body is dependent on where you're holding tension. Let's come on back to center here. Again, if you need to change your seat, please feel free to do that. Let's work our shoulders, work our neck. I'm just closing the eyes here at first so that I can tune into what I'm feeling. My shoulders crunching around a little bit. Any areas of stiffness, I'm going to go forward with my shoulders too. You can do alternating, simultaneous. It's up to you. Great work, everybody. We'll start to bring ourselves back to just neutral shoulders and rocking the head from left to right. Just like a metronome, tick-tocking from side to side. You can hold it a little longer for a longer beat if you'd like to. And then we're going to hold it. So let's lean our head over to the right. Reach your left hand out like someone is grabbing onto that left hand. Let them pull it out there. Let's rotate the arms a couple times, internal, external. When I go internal, I can feel a little bit of like a shifting in my arm. So if that's uncomfortable, don't feel like you need to do that. We can either ground those left fingers or slide the hand to your low back. So if that hurts your shoulder, just go to the simple fingers on the ground. The right hand could reach for your head. A more simple variation is right hand to the left shoulder. So see what you like, see what you need. If you don't need those assistants, then just let yourself stretch. Let's take a deep breath here. Remember, the energy rises and falls with each breath. Tip your chin forward slightly towards your right collarbone. Nice work. Release the right hand. Draw your chin down to your chest. Let's roll our head over to the left. Reach your right hand out like someone is grabbing onto it. Let them pull it out a little bit. Rotate your arm a couple times, internal, external rotation there. Again, if you're feeling popping in there, it's just tendons moving out of a bony groove. Unless it hurts, it's okay. You can either drop the right fingertips down to the floor or sweep the right hand to your low back, but we want to honor that shoulder and honor the neck. Our head is leaning towards the opposite way, towards the left. Your left hand could reach up over your head or across your heart to your right shoulder, assisting it further down. If you don't need the assistant, it's okay. You can just let gravity do its work here. Let's take some deep breaths, let it stretch, and maybe change the stretch, like Drawing your chin down to your left shoulder or your left clavicle. Feel free to change it often if you need to continue moving. If your arm's going to sleep at all, then that's an indication to release the stretch. So whenever you've had enough, release both hands, release the head, chin to chest. Roll your head gently to the right, gently to the left, just with your head in flexion, which means chin to chest. Nice work. Roll your head back up. If it feels okay to roll your shoulders a couple more times, you can do that. We're going to get into those shoulder blades a little bit more. So let's expand both arms out at the same time like wings. Try to squeeze them back. You might feel it through your chest, through your pecs a little bit. And then we're going to give ourselves a hug. I've got my right arm on top first, but you could do your left. It's okay. We're going to round over. Try to pull those shoulder blades apart. Pull them from your spine. Round your lower back. Push those lower ribs out back behind you. Keep on breathing. When you're ready, open up your chest. Open up your hands. Inhale. Other arm on top this time. Give yourself a hug. Spread those shoulder blades out. Ribs. Keep breathing. Maybe rock a little bit from side to side, wring it out a little bit. If it's not feeling good, don't feel like you need to stay. You can open up your chest whenever you're ready to, opening up those wings. This time I'm going to rotate the palms down and back and interlace the fingers, or just maybe touch your fingers back there like this. But I'm going to interlace my fingers and pull my arms straight back. When I pull my fists back, it opens up the chest. You can open up your throat, your heart. Give yourself that little smile, even if it's inside. Nice job. Keep your fingers interlaced. Relax the arms so that they kind of, you can relax your shoulders. We're going to try to bring the fists over here into the right waist. Again, leaning our head to the right. One more neck stretch, but this time let's play with it a little bit. Chin to the shoulder, ear to the shoulder, lifting the chin. See where you can find a good spot. If you need to stay put and let it stretch, please do that. If you need to change your legs, please do that. If your legs are falling asleep, it's a good time to change it up. We are going to follow this up with the other side. So whenever you're ready, bring your head to neutral. Start leaning your head to the left. Sweep your hands across your back to the other side of your waist, your left side. And then again, play with it a little bit. If you need to stop and let your neck stretch at any point, please stop and let it elongate, let it lengthen. Use your breath. And whenever you're ready, draw your chin to your chest. Release both hands. Let's start getting into our lower body here. So I'm just rolling out my shoulders, bringing some energy back in, maybe rocking my head a little bit quicker from side to side. Let's extend our legs out too, because they've been crisscrossed a while if you've been following along. So legs are going to come straight out, but we don't want to bring our feet together. We want them to be slightly separated so that the feet are kind of lined up with the hips. Let's slide our hands down to the shins, down to the ankles, down to the feet if you're there yet. Don't worry about getting there. Just find the spot where you feel a stretch. Relax your feet, but don't let them roll out. Make sure your feet and your knees stay rolled upward. Round into that back a little bit more, kind of like you're looking back at your belly button. Nice work. Reach your hands out past your feet, up towards the sky, and we'll drop our hands down. So if it's okay, you can keep your legs like this. You could totally go back to crisscross if you want. We're going to do 3 kinds of side sways. You have these options, and you can stay at any one that you like. So the right hand is going to come kind of right behind our body on the mat. And we want our elbow to spin forward so that the point of it points back when we bend it. So that way we can keep our right shoulder dropping away from our ear. The left hand is going to reach up to the sky. And you can still feel that whole side body, the whole left side body stretching. But I've got some energy in that right hand because I really have to push into the mat to not like fall over there. Take a big breath if you haven't already. And let's push into the right hand to come back to center. The left hand will nestle right up next to us. Spin the elbow forward so that the point bends back and the right hand reaches up. Keep that left shoulder lowered from your ear. Right hand reaching so that you're feeling the stretch through your whole right side. Don't forget to breathe. We'll push into the left hand to come back up. And we're going to go a little farther. You still have the option to push into the hand here. So now my hand is an arm's length away. Go ahead and go whenever you're ready to. So that's going to take you a little bit further into that side sway. Nice work. Looks good. Whenever you want to come up out of that pose, push into your right hand and come back up. The left hand will go one arm's length. The right hand reaches this time. So we kind of want to like push our ribs out towards the right. Then you still have that ability to push into the left hand when you want to come up. Now the last version requires the core strength, and that's where we really slide out, but not so far that we peel up. We want to stay rooted. Reaching over with the left. Deep breath, 1 or 2, or maybe a couple more. If it's feeling really good, you can open your chest. You can round the chest and the ribs. See what you can find in there. Stay anchored, stay rooted. And then when you're ready to come up, just slide up, but that's going to require that core strength. So if you like one of the first 2 versions better, you can go back to that. So our left hand is sliding out as far as we can, pressing those right ribs out, leaning the head, opening the chest, rounding the chest, whatever feels good. What do you need today? What is your body asking of you? When you're ready to come up, reach up with that right hand, use your core and pull yourself up. Nice work. Let's keep our right leg straight and bend our left knee out to the side. So we just got our right leg extended now. Big inhale up to the ceiling. And then we'll forward fold over top that right leg. Ankle, foot, knee, shin, wherever you land is a good spot to be. Let's see if we can find that breath. As we inhale, the energy rises up to our heart, to our chest, to our throat. As we exhale, we ground into the posture, letting go of tension, surrendering, if you will. Nice job. Roll yourself back up to center. On this right leg, we're going to visit all 4 aspects of the thigh. So we just did back of the thigh. We're going to do inner thigh next. So take your leg, slide it out to the side. So now you've got space. Sit up nice and tall. Keep those sit bones rooted here, and then start to just lean forward. The belly is kind of reaching for our left foot here. I've got a really big stretch going on in the right inner thigh there. So if it becomes too much, you can always kind of rock from side to side. You can do a little cat and cow type movement there. So movement is always good. Let's find that breath. We're going to add the side sway into that position. So the right hand will sweep down the right leg for the knee, the shin, the ankle, the foot, the strap. The left hand is going to first just reach across our chest so that we're kind of reaching for our toes, past our chin. And if you'd like to, you can open up the chest, looking up towards the ceiling. You can go back and forth if you want to, or you can just hang out in one of those positions or visit both for a moment or two. See what feels good in your body. It can be different for each one of us. When you're ready to come out of that position, reach that left hand back across your chin, across your chest, and kind of walk your hands or walk your body back to center. Roll back up. Bring the right leg back to center, left leg back to center, kick them both out. Now we're going to visit the outside of the right thigh. So I'm going to bend my right knee and cross it over top that left leg. And we're going into kind of outer right hip, outer right thigh there. Sit up nice and tall. You'll notice a difference if you're kind of rounded over in your back and then you sit up taller. You'll notice the difference there and in your back. Now, I know there's a lot of people in here who could probably do the intermediate version, so I'm going to show you how to get into that. Your right foot will drop down to the ground. We kind of rotate out here to the left, and as I rotate, I lift my right hip. The left leg curls underneath. So if you come back down and both sit bones connect, you're good. But if you're like kind of peeled up now and it feels awkward, then the more beginner version is the best option for you, and that's okay. You don't have to worry about which option you're at. This is just something we're kind of working towards. It's like the next goal. So from here, you can do the same thing, same but different. Let's start to add a twist. So we're going to rotate over here to the right. Your right hand can even sweep around you. So this is a nice beginner twist. It's the beginning of, it's called Ardha Matsyendrasana, which means half lord of the fishes. I don't know why they call it that. I'm sure there's some sort of Hindu myth behind why they call it that. If you'd like to take it further, your left arm can hook on the outside of the right thigh. The full posture is a prayer twist with the palms together, balanced on the tailbone, balanced on the sit bones. Shoulders down from the ears, spine lifted, still breathing. That's kind of the hard part. Nice job. Let's unwind. So we're going to unwind over here to the left. As we come over here to the left, you kind of lift up. The left leg can re-extend, come back up. Extend that right leg, wiggle it out. We still have one more aspect of the right leg to visit, and that's the top of the thigh. So I'm going to kind of scooch over a little bit on my yoga mat. So I imagine my mat's vertical. So now I have space right here on my mat. I'm going to lean out to the left once again so that the right hip lifts. And this time I'm going to swing the right leg back into a quadricep stretch is what it really is. The quadricep is right here on the top of the thigh. So this is step one. If you feel a good stretch, just stay here. If you'd like, you can drop onto your left elbow. If you're like, it's a little bit too much, then you might just have to come back up to your hands and bend the elbows down. Step three is both elbows down. So you'd be rotating your chest open. I can't get my elbow down, so I'm at 2.5. Some people can lay on the floor. But if your right knee starts to lift, we got to try to keep it rooted, grounded to the floor. So think about right knee down, right hip up. And that activation of the glute really helps. Let's take a deep breath here. When you're ready, we'll roll out to the left, press back up, extend the right leg. We got to do it all on the other side. So let's just bend that right knee out to the side here. Again, if you need some support, a pillow there, a block there is really a good thing to have handy. You can slide right down, or I'm going to take a big inhale up first to the sky and then fold over. For the left foot, ankle, the shin is a good spot, the knee is a good spot. Some people put one hand on the floor on either side of their leg. So there's a lot of different options here. Let's try to close our eyes and tune into our body, where we're feeling the stretch. How intense is the stretch? Do you want it to be that intense? Because you can back off a little bit. You could push that limit a little bit, edge into that stretch a little bit more. that's all about what can your nervous system handle. So if the nerves start to kind of freak out, we've got to back off. Nice work. Last breath. We'll start to release whenever you're ready, rolling back up to neutral. We're going to work the inner thigh. So slide the leg out, make some space here between the right foot, the left thigh, sit up tall, and just start to lean forward. Classic inner thigh stretch. I know we do it often, but it works. We want to try our best to keep our left sit bone rooted on the floor too. So if you kind of feel your left butt bone lifting up, we got to try to externally rotate and sink that hip into the floor. Last big breath. You can add movement, cat and cow, sweeping from right to left if the nervous system is unhappy. Nice work. To add the side sway here, when you're ready to, you'll reach your left hand down your left leg, your knee, your shin, your ankle, your foot, your strap is good. And then the right hand is just gonna kind of reach across towards your left toes. And that's where I start to feel the stretch all the way through my right side. I can start to open the chest, opening to the side here. It's known as revolved head to knee position. And you can go back and forth between those two, or you can just hang out in each one for a couple breaths. The choice is yours. Nice work. When your body is saying that's enough repetition or that's good in the stretch, you can find your way back to the stretch where our right arm is across the chest and kind of roll yourself back up, or you can stay as long as you need to in those stretches. Let's come back to center. So we'll bring our left leg in, kick the right leg out, wiggle it out a little bit. We still have outer thigh and top of the thigh for the left leg. So let's do left knee bends and we'll cross it over top. We'll hug that into the chest here. You can start to feel the hip. If you tried the more intermediate version, then you might try that here too. We roll out to the right, hook that right leg underneath, and if both sit bones still connect, you're good to go. But if you're kind of peeled up a little awkwardly, then it would be better to root both sit bones. So that's always kind of the name of the game. Can you anchor yourself wholly through both sit bones, through the tailbone? Sit up nice and tall, shoulders down. This side's a lot tighter for me. Nice. And whenever you're ready, you can start to add those twists. You can just stay where you are the whole time if you'd like to. So I'm starting to rotate out towards the left. My left hand is going to hook behind me on the mat. And if you want to take that further, of course, there's the option too, but you don't have to. What that looks like is swinging the right arm up and over and hooking that elbow on the outside of the left thigh. Extended arm is good. Prayer palms with the palms together is the full posture. I'm sure there's some crazy yogis out there who don't have a body and they can wrap their arms and grab around somehow. Yeah, I don't know, somehow. You can unwind when you're ready. There we go. Sorry. I lost Anna, so I saw Rowan on there, so I assume the little guy pressed cancel or something. Unwind your legs. You can kick out your right leg. We'll kick out our left leg here. Wiggle the legs out. Now we still have the top of the left thigh here. So you can scooch over a little bit so that there's more room on the left side of your mat. And lean out towards the right and swing the left leg back. Now the angle of that knee is up to you. So whatever's available for you today. I guess traditionally, or what Iyengar would want to see, is your heel really close to your glute, but that flexion is not available for everyone. Step one is just leaning out towards the right. Step two is on the right elbow. Step three is both elbows. So I'm not quite there. I'm kind of just at 2.5. So whenever you feel the stretch through that left thigh is where you want to stretch, and just stop and let things lengthen. We'll take a couple breaths and kind of send it to that area. The knee, we point it down. Squeeze the glute a little bit. Take a breath. Yeah, I heard everyone breathe when they squeezed. When you're ready, you can roll out to the right. Extend that left leg. Nice work. Wiggle it out a little bit. Bring energy through those legs. So now we've done hamstring, inner thigh, outer thigh, top of the thigh. And we'll bring our feet together to finish that up. So Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees apart. So I don't want anyone to try to force their legs down. What will help open up those inner thighs and knees is just leaning forward. You can even rock a little bit from side to side if you need a little extra something. Nice work. All right, rolling back up, you can stay like this, you can crisscross your legs, you can send your legs out, it's up to you. We're just gonna do one more quick neck and shoulder, and then later on we're gonna combine it with the legs for our balance move, okay? So however you want your legs to be, I'm gonna crisscross because that's what I do. We'll bring our arms out like this and then into cactus arms. We want to kind of crisscross the arms. I've got my right elbow in the left elbow pit. So step one. Step two, I'm going to bring my hands, the back of my wrists together. And if you can get the full wrap around, that's great. That's the full posture there. Well, the full arm, upper body posture. We're going to relax the shoulders. Try to lift through the crown of your head. Do you feel that in your shoulders, like top of your shoulder blades? I feel it right up here. I feel it on both sides. But I guess I feel it on the right more. I don't know, they're about the same. Let's try the other side. So open up those arms. We've been stretching so much to get it to this point. So now we'll do the other side. Left elbow on top, hooking and wrapping those arms around. And then we kind of pull the elbows out, but we have to relax the shoulders. So it's kind of hard to isolate those two different areas. You can rock your head a little bit. Yeah, I guess on this side, I feel it more on the left shoulder. So nice work, everybody. We're gonna do this again a little later, adding the legs. Open the chest up. If you want to, you can interlace the fingers or drop the hands onto the mat and open your chest. Just to do the opposite, I like to let my head rock from side to side with the extension. So I can hear my bones kind of crunching against each other back there. And we'll come back up to center. Nice job. Let's shift to hands and knees here. So we'll take a couple moments. We'll do our cats and cows. Make sure you've got any kind of cushions that you might need. And if you don't have any cushions, you can always kind of fold your yoga mat back on itself to create a couple more layers of cushion. I happen to have these fancy little knee pads. So fingers spread here traditionally, you know, like that's what the old yogis would want to see, but we can change it. We don't have to do anything traditionally. You can make fists. Some people drop onto elbows because their wrists hurt, but I will tell you, if your wrists hurt, it's because they're weak. So let's get them stronger by creating some pressure there. Cows, we drop the belly to the floor. Cats, we rise the belly up into the spine and reach it towards the sky. I love cats and cows because they're really like a full torso movement. With cow pose, the head lifts up, and with cat pose, the head drops down. So the neck is really involved. And then with cow pose, the shoulders drop away from the ears. And with cat pose, the shoulders rise up towards the ears. And with that cow pose, the belly drops through the spine, curves down. And with that cat pose, it rises up. And then finally, pelvis. With that cow pose, the pelvis anteriorly tilts and then posterior with the cat. If that's becoming a lot on the hands, take a break at any time. A break would be something like child's pose, or maybe puppy pose. Some people don't like this pressure on their knees, so they'll kind of like lay out on their belly like this. That's called crocodile pose. So we've got a lot of options. Find something that works for you. And when you find that moment of stillness, let's try to find that joy, that bliss, that ananda by just breathing. Being in our body in this moment. Noticing where the strain in the body is, where the ease in the body is. And I don't want anyone to suffer. So if your body is in pain, it's suffering right now, then we need to make a change. So when that time comes, when your mind decides to change and you want to move once again, then roll yourself back to that tabletop. Nice job. Let's tuck our toes under here. Roll up onto our toes, onto our hands by lifting our knees. It's called downward facing dog. There is quite a bit of pressure on the hands here. It does get better with time. I barely feel any pressure in my hands now that I've been doing yoga for so long. We'll look towards our hands here and start to just make our way forward by walking forward or walking your hands back towards your feet. We're going to end in kind of like a forward fold here. So that looks different for everybody, but I want to tell you, you don't have to have your legs straight for this. Bent knees is better for your back. So we don't want to strain our back. It does so much for us during our life. So let's give it a moment to just kind of drape and relax over the legs. But then our legs start burning. Our thighs start burning because they have to support the weight. Take a deep breath, let go, exhale, let your head go, your arms. And we'll start to roll up. It could be one vertebra at a time. You can reverse swan dive if you'd like. We'll just meet it standing. Nice job. Let's sweep those arms up overhead. I actually imagine that I'm grabbing onto good stuff and pulling it right down into my heart center. And that brings me some joy. So that little inner smile of all the good stuff coming into my heart center. It's kind of like energy that I'm filling myself up with to get through the practice, to fire up this sun salutation. So let's do a slow flow sun salutation. We'll stretch in each pose. Inhale right here. Exhale, hands down to the sides. Inhale and sweep your hands up to the sky. I'm going to do something different today. We're going to cactus the arms, bend the knees a little bit, and open your chest, a little mini back bend. Inhale back up to the sky, gather all that good stuff, and we'll shower it over ourselves as we bend the knees, belly on the thighs, bent knees. Nice. I get my fingertips to the floor, but some of us aren't quite there, so hovering is good. Or if you happen to have a yoga block, you could put your fingers on that. We're going to just straighten the right leg. The left one is going to stay bent. Take a breath, another breath. Yeah, we're holding it, and then we'll relax. Bend both knees, straighten just the left leg, and take 2 full breaths. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling again. And with the exhale, we'll bend both knees. So let's do it one more on each side. Right leg lengthens, 2 full breaths. One more breath. With the exhale, bend the right knee. With your next inhale, straighten your left leg. And 2 full breaths of stretching, giving those muscles oxygen and time. One more breath, and then we'll exhale and bend both knees. Nice. Inhale, lengthen both legs at the same time. Lift your hands to your shins, your knees, your thighs. We want to try to straighten out our back. Shoulders down, away from your ears. So it's kind of like you have like a turtle head and it's coming out of your shell. One more breath. Exhale, bend those knees. Get your fingertips to the mat. A little bit of support there. Step 1 foot back. You choose which one. I did my right foot. Then I drop my hands to the floor and I step my left foot back. Downward facing dog. So you want to be pushing into flat palms and into those toes, and I'm pedaling out my heels to stretch my calf muscles. Left heel down, stretching the left calf, right heel down, stretching the right calf, back and forth. Next stretch, it's more of an exercise, a strengthening exercise, is plank. Look from your toes to your hands and roll forward like you're going to do a push-up. You can drop to your knees. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to hold for one more breath. Plank challenge, right? You can drop to your knees when you're ready, and then we lower down through thighs, belly, and chest into prone position is what this is called. We want to scoop our elbows back. Look forward. Just this is called Sphinx pose, like the Sphinx in front of the pyramids. If you push into your hands, that's called Cobra. If you lengthen your legs, your arms, and your legs, it's Upward Dog. That kind of bothers my back a little bit, so I prefer Cobra, Sphinx. Come back to Crocodile on your belly. Tuck those toes back under. Let's roll back up, tabletop position. So readjust your body. Reset, tuck those toes, and we'll find our way to your downward facing dog, pedaling it out a couple more times here. Looking good. Look to your hands when you're ready to move and start stepping forward, 1 foot at a time. We'll walk forward, walk your hands back if you need that, and then we'll lift halfway and we'll extend our turtle head out of our shell once again. I like to lean my head from side to side when I do that, and I even feel the sides of my neck under my ears. And then I'm going to try to relax, and that can be hard for some of us. So I'm going to bend my knees, separate my feet, and try to just drape over top the legs. Now, if that hurts your lower back, feel free to bend your elbows and rest them on top of your thighs. That's a really nice option for those of us who don't like to hang in the spine. Just whatever option works for you, find something that works. Let's take 3 deep breaths, and with every exhale, kind of give yourself permission to let go, surrender. Great work. Bring awareness to your feet. Start to bring energy into them. Knees are soft, so make sure they're bent. And we'll start to press through the legs, energizing all the way up to your pelvis, through the lumbar spine, all the way up through your torso, shoulder blades back, head up, and then we'll reach for the sky. Hands will reach, grab that good stuff, and we'll bring it right down into your heart center. Nice job. So that's a really slow flow sun salutation, but it's really nice to break it down and stretch each position. So let's do it a little bit quicker this time with energy. So I'm still going to be flowing with my breath, but you can kind of slow it down and slow your breath so that it's not so quick. So nice long breaths. I kind of imagine that I'm moving through water, or like my teachers always said, like honey or molasses, so that you're creating like a resistance against your body. And that's going to create energy and strength. So let's try it. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down to the sides. Inhale, sweep the hands up, gather that good stuff. We'll shower it over ourselves, folding forward. Inhale and lift halfway, flat back, turtleneck, and then exhale, relax back, forward fold. Bend those knees, bend them a lot. Opposite foot, so step your left foot back. Ground your palms, step your right foot back, downward facing dog. Pedal it out a couple times here, a couple breaths. While you're here, let's do a little correction. I always see people kind of poke their head out behind their arms, and we want our ears to stay in alignment with our biceps here. So try not to press your chest too far. We don't want to overextend the shoulders. Now let's strengthen those shoulders up. Look at your hands, roll into plank. Nice job. Readjust if you need to. Inhale here. Lower your body down. Bend to your knees if you need to. Untuck your toes. Heart lift, Sphinx or Cobra or upward facing dog. Back through Cobra, back through Sphinx. Tuck your toes. We'll find our way up. I do tabletop first, and then I roll the hips up. And I always have to adjust my downward dog. I always have to walk my feet forward about 2 inches. And then I'm going to pedal it out. Look towards the hands. Walk or step or even a hop if you're ready for that towards the hands here. And we'll lift halfway. Turtleneck pose. That's what I'm going to call it now. And then we'll release down. Forward fold. Bend your knees. Get your back to relax. Another breath. I'm realizing I only have 2 songs on my playlist. That's funny. And no internet connection. So anywho, let's sweep our arms out like a bird, catch the wind and start to roll up. There's lots of wind here today. We'll grab on and pull it down into the heart center. Excuse me. Nice work, everybody. So body's starting to get more energized here. I'm gonna check our time, see where we're at. Oh man, we are so good at this. We're so good at this. I'm gonna add on that eagle pose that I promised. So remember we did these arms earlier. We're gonna do those again, but we're gonna add the legs this time. So this is where our balance is gonna come in. So I'm going to start with a somatic movement. We're only going to spend a couple minutes in Shavasana today, which I know is good for a lot of us, but this is a somatic movement. So what somatic means, soma is brain-body connection. So this is called the curtsy lunge. We've done this before if you've been practicing with me for a while. What we're going to do, we'll start on the right side. So I like to bring my arms out. I take my right leg and I bring it behind and I curtsy. There you go. So that's the first move. Just like that, little squat, little plie. Then we bring our right foot out and tap it. See, I mean, even this is like, okay, we're getting it. The next move is a side crunch. So I crunch in and I lift my leg. Let's see if we can do that. So we're gonna slide it behind, curtsy, right leg comes out, crunch. It's fun to watch myself in the video. Curtsy, tap, crunch. Let's do it again. Right leg behind, curtsy, tap, crunch. You got it. Eventually, we're gonna get it like this. Eventually. It's fast though, you know, so at first we break it down. Crunch. Okay, let those arms down, hang them out. We'll practice. We'll keep practicing. I'll remember. Let's do the left side. So arms out or just kind of down to the side because I know the arms get a little tired. So we'll start with the left leg out. We're going to bring it behind, curtsy, out to the side, tap the left foot, crunch. It can be fast. Slide it behind, curtsy, tap out to the side, crunch. Nice job. Let's do a couple more. Just break it down. Eventually, we'll get it really smooth. We'll smooth it out. I'm going to try a couple of those. Curtsy, crunch. Curtsy, crunch. Oh man, my legs are burning. You got it. Nice job. Okay, relax. Proud of you. Okay, here comes our eagle. So we've got all of our nervous system moving with all of this balance here. So it's going to be right foot. Let's ground it down. Bend your knees. Sweep the left leg in front. It's kind of like you have to go to the bathroom. You can keep your toe on the floor, that left toe. The full pose. is picking that up and wrapping it around. So I would suggest keeping your toe on the floor at first. Then the arms come up. Left arm in the right elbow pit. Wrap them if you can. See my toes still on the floor for my balance. And then if you're like, okay, I can balance. The deeper you sit, the more you can balance. Eagles. This is called eagle posture or Garudasana. And then you can just unwind. I didn't do it in beginner yoga yesterday. Okay, let's do the other side. It's weird. I don't know what these yogis were thinking of. They're like, let's try this and call it eagle. So now our left leg is going to be rooted. I bend both knees because this is like my new stool for my right leg to cross over. My right toes are on the floor though. A block is good too if you've got a block. Hands come up. Right elbow in the left elbow crook. So this is eagle. And this is eagle. And so is this. And lifting your foot is eagle. Nice job. Beautiful eagles. Unwinding when you're ready. Great job. A little bit of a challenge is good. Yes, something different. All right, let's do a half salutation. You can do the whole thing if you want, but we'll get down to the floor here. We'll put sweaters on, grab some water. Heart center. Remember that Hansi Mudra, that inner smile, finding our bliss. That's why we're here. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the sides. Moving through honey, through molasses, sweeping the hands up. We'll exhale and swan dive, forward fold. I bend my knees. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat. We're stepping those feet back for our last downward dog. Of course, you can choose to continue if you'd like. I'm going to release down to hands and knees. Take a quick child's pose, 3 breaths. You can go ahead and roll onto your back whenever you're ready to. We'll take just a couple moments to settle our body. Maybe you continue to move. Maybe you just find your way to a seated posture today. It's your choice. If you've got some time at home to really lay down in Shavasana, please feel free to press pause and just lay for as long as you need. All right, I'm gonna put my jacket on, grab a little sip of water. Perfect timing. So now as we lay back supine on our back, you can lay flat on your back in a traditional Shavasana. I like to lay with my feet flat and my knees bent. I mostly do that because I don't happen to have a lot of equipment handy. So I don't have a bolster or a pillow or an extra yoga mat. So I just lay with my knees bent, feet flat, and that allows my lower lumbar spine to have curvature. Sometimes when we lay flat, our back is too flat also, and our back is meant to have the curves in it. So find those curves. Allow your neck to have a curve up towards your throat. And allow your shoulders to curve back into the floor. Allow your lower back, where your belly button is, to curve up towards your belly button. And your hips, your pelvis, down into the floor. The tailbone rises away from the floor. You can lay still, or you can gently window wipe your knees from side to side. Adding in any last stretches that you need today. there is so much in our lives to be joyful for. So take a couple moments and create perhaps a mental list of a couple things in your life that bring you joy, that bring you happiness, and make you smile. I'm gonna take one more big body stretch here, full body, by reaching my arms out to the side, just bringing energy into my arms, reaching up through my neck, up through my head, straightening out my legs and pointing my toes down and out to the sides so that every appendage is lengthening out from my axis. And then relaxing one more time, just letting my body lay on the ground, limp with nothing moving. And then I'll roll to the side, whichever side. Maybe just right up to a seat is what serves your body. And remember, if you have the time at home to just lay in Shavasana for a bit longer, then feel free to do that. For me, just the ability to feel the body brings me joy. Knowing that my body is capable and strong and has the ability to gain strength and flexibility, and that it can change. So if there's something I'm not happy with physically, I can change it. Emotionally is harder, but it's still changeable. Some things we just have to learn to accept and love anyway about ourselves. Thank you, all of you, so much for joining me here and honoring your body, listening to that inner intelligence, but also allowing me to be your movement guide today. In yoga, we say namaste, which means the supreme sweetness, the divine light inside of you exists inside of me also. And when we recognize that light, we also recognize that we're one. I bow to you. Namaste. And Shukriya. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And happy Mother's Day to all you mamas.